going to go ahead and get started with science here. So I wanted to remind you, if you have not taken the test yet, then you got to get that done today. It will no longer be available after 3 p.m. today. So make sure that you have the opportunity to get that taken care of, okay? And then wanted to let you know that there's been a couple of people who've asked for retakes, and so Ms. Keski and I talked about it. We're not going to offer a retake for this test at this time. Basically, this is kind of the end, culmination, whatever you'd like to call it, the ending of the chemistry unit. And so we're going to call it good and then have a break for Christmas, and then we'll go on from there, okay? So just letting you know that. But again, last call for the test is today by 3 p.m. After that, it's closed and it won't be available any longer, okay? So most of you have probably seen the daily agenda slides for today, or the slide for today, basically going through and asking you to use the pH paper that you got on one of the last days of school. Hopefully you have had a time to look at the slide presentation that goes with that. So there's a couple of things that I want to make sure that you understand. First up, if you watch the video that Ms. Keski made, so we worked together to create this video, it really goes through the entire thing for you and basically kind of shows you where you need to fill in things and where you don't. Remember, the slide presentation that you're looking at is actually just a view only. Even though there's questions written with like a space for you to write, we decided to do it this way for this time simply because it's too hard to kind of try to get all of this taken care of in the next day and a half, okay? So because of that, we decided to do it just a little bit differently. So you do not fill out the questions that you see posted right on the Google Slides. Instead, if you watch the video that's posted first, it says pH lesson and lab right on the student's daily agenda slide, then it will kind of go through the entire thing with you, okay? Then you get to the spot at the end where we're asking you to go ahead and use your pH paper, okay? So that paper dipped into, for you, it should be 2 acids and 2 bases, okay? So lots of different options are available to you. There's lists of each of those different types of things that you'll find right in that slide presentation. So make sure you're looking that over. So today I'm going to go over and do a little bit of that lab just so you kind of see what it is that we're asking you to do. Hang on for a second. I'm going to go ahead and go to a different view here. All right, so can you see that? I hope so. There we go. All right, so this is what we have laid out today. So this is what you were sent home with, okay? So you should have 2 pieces of this pH paper, okay? Then you were asked to go ahead and cut yours in half so that you can use 1 piece of paper to test 2 different substances, okay? So what I have here are 2 basic different things. So this one, first up, is, I'm gonna make sure the lid is on there tight. It is apple cider vinegar. So that's what is in this little tiny beaker right here. And then the other substance that I have is this. It is glass cleaner. So that's a base, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and go through and for any of you that haven't started this lab yet, basically what I'm asking you to do is, again, you're gonna cut this little pH strip in half, and then you'll have the ability to do 4 substances, okay? So we're going to have a piece of paper ready for us to put this on. This actual comparison is on one of the slides. I believe it's slide 10 of your presentation slides. So you'll be able to compare to this. Different pH paper is actually made a little bit differently. So this is the one that we have a picture of on the slide for you to compare with because it's what came with this pH paper or these pH paper strips, okay? So for my acid, all I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, have my piece of paper ready. I'm going to go ahead and dip it. I just have to touch it basically to that substance. And then if you go to your Chromebook and kind of start looking to compare the color that it is now turning. So this, I would say, equals up to about a 4 as far as what that color kind of comparison would be. So I would write down on my paper right here, I'm going to write cider vinegar, and then I'm going to write pH. So this is exactly what I need you to do for 4 different substances, okay? So as I showed you before, the other substance that I already have ready here is window cleaner or glass cleaner, okay? So now I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to dip it in there. And so now when I do this comparison, I'm going to go ahead and I see that it matches up to that number 10. I'm going to write right over here, window cleaner, and the pH equals 10. So this now would tell me that vinegar is indeed an acid, okay? And you don't have to write that on here, but I want you to understand that we have these differences, okay? And this would be a base. So going back through the slide presentation that we have available for you today, there's lots of information there as far as you being able to do those comparisons, okay? Hang on here. I'm going to go ahead and get away from this. So the Google Slides that are available to you kind of go through some important information. So one of the things, like I need you to have an understanding that all of these different substances, chemicals, whatever you want to call them, most of you have many of them in your house, right? And so in the Google Slides, it talks about checking your laundry room, your bathroom, your kitchen for some of these different things, okay? Lemon juice, lime juice, grapefruit juice, those are all strong acids. So acids are different from bases. Acids actually give off hydrogen ions, okay? And those are the substances that have a pH of less than 7. 7 is considered neutral. So in other words, it's not acidic, it's not basic, and that's where we find distilled water. If you went out into your backyard and you got some water out of a puddle, or you even have like a creek or a lake near your house and you got some water from one of those areas, chances are it's going to have a little bit of acidity to it. And that's simply because in our atmosphere, there are lots of different acids that are already there. And so the water actually picks up or takes with it some of those acids. And so some of that sometimes gets too strong. And so acid rain is a real thing, and it can be very harmful to not only plants and animals, but also to our lakes in general and to just all water, okay? Let's see, hydrofluoric acid is a really, really dangerous acid, and it is used in creating of Teflon and some other of the chemicals or kinds of coatings that we use every day. However, one of the strongest and most dangerous acids is contained right in your tummy. So your stomach, that gastric acid, that stomach acid that you have in your stomach can do a lot of damage. And if you've ever had heartburn or you've ever been sick to your stomach, you know that that can be a really harmful and hurtful thing. And so it really gives us understanding better of why people who have ulcers, it's a very, very painful thing, because it basically is a process where the lining of your stomach isn't strong enough to keep that acid contained. And so now that acid kind of seeps out and starts hurting you in other places. Your stomach lining is made to be able to take it. And your stomach lining is constantly regenerating because it's being broken down by that super strong acid. So just understand that that is one of the most dangerous acids, and it's actually something we're all carrying around, okay? So the bases then are different, right? They are the ones that have a pH greater than 7. And so these, if you look it up or Google it, everything will tell you that bases feel slippery. Well, what does that mean? Basically, it means that these are the types of substances that give off hydroxide ions now in water. And so what's happening there is that the hydrogen bonded with oxygen, and so therefore they slide next to each other a little bit more easily, okay? Bases have pH greater than 7, so even a 7.5 or an 8 would be considered a base. And so these are the types of things like in the demo that I just showed you, the glass cleaner or window cleaner. Any sort of soaps are bases, even hand soap that you use in the bathroom. If you don't have many bases around your house that are safe to use, ammonia is a base, but you could even take some of the hand soap from your bathroom or your kitchen and mix it with just a little bit of water, and then you'd have something to dip that test strip into, okay? Liquid drain cleaner is probably the strongest base that we have out there. It is incredibly dangerous. Bleach itself is also very dangerous, and most of you already know that. Bleach can hurt your clothing, right? And it can hurt your skin. It can cause burns, just as if an acid would. So bases can act in much the same way. But what can be most harmful is the fumes that are created from those things. So as you're working today, make sure that you're not in a really tiny enclosed area. These acids and bases do give off a lot of gases that can sometimes make you like just sick to your stomach. Okay, so be very careful. Let's see. If you haven't already, then looking at the daily slide for today asks you to go ahead and create this piece of paper like what I did the demo of. And so then you're asked to take a picture of your 4 pH strips, because remember you got 2 of them and you're going to cut them in half. You're going to dip into 4 different substances, and then I need you to write down just what I did, the way that I demoed it for you, is write down what is the substance that you put it into. So if you had white vinegar, cider vinegar, grapefruit juice, whatever your acids are, you need 2 of those. And then your bases, any of those kind of soapy types of cleaners, those types of things. So you're going to write down the name of whatever it was that you put your test strips into, and then you need to match it up with that comparison and figure out what pH level that substance is at, okay? Then once you do that, you'll take that picture, and that's what's pushed out on Google Classroom today, is for you just to have a place to turn in that picture. So don't email it to me, go to Google Classroom, and it's asking you to actually insert it right there on a Google slide, okay? If you have to, you can make a copy of that slide, or you can upload 2 or 3 pictures onto that one slide, whatever works best for you, okay? All right, so that's pretty much it for today, trying to utilize that lab time as much as we can. And so this is going to be due tomorrow. So if you don't have the stuff today, or you're not able to do this today, then you have tomorrow to get it taken care of, because then it would be due tomorrow by midnight, remember, when we have a due date, okay? So, but let's not leave it till midnight, because I would love for you to be ready for Christmas break by about 3 o'clock tomorrow, okay? So make sure that you have everything that you need for today. If you haven't, again, I'll say it, make sure you get that test taken. It will be posted only until 3 p.m. today, so make sure you get that accomplished as well. If you're seeing any issues in the grade book, email me, let me know, because some of you have found places where I've missed a grade or I've missed something that's come in late. So make sure that you're double checking on me as well. Okay, awesome. That's all I have for you today.